Spider-Man Brand New Day is finally here, and based off of the trailers, you can easily tell that this is going to be a Spider-Man movie that is completely different from all of the others. And if that makes you feel uneasy or skeptical about the direction of this film, don't worry, I got you. My name is Mercy Unscripted, and this is Before You Watch, where I give you everything that you need to know about a film, whether it's the director, the DP, the music composer, all the behind-the-scenes rumors, just all the good info that you would need to know before you spend your time on a film. And with that being said, let's talk about it. Coming in just under 2 hours and 25 minutes, Spider-Man Brand New Day is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, the man behind Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Just Mercy, and episodes of Wonder Man. Cretton has a reputable, compact resume of projects that he's worked on and directed, so the fandom of the MCU felt genuinely safe when they heard the announcement that he was making this Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. We completely trust Cretton to continue the story of Peter Parker and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. However, everything that we've seen up to this point on all the trailers and the press releases and stuff and all the leaks and rumors, this is a completely different Peter Parker than what we've known. If you're not already caught up, I'm going to catch you up real quick on the story so far. And obviously spoilers for No Way Home, but if you haven't seen that movie yet, then what are you doing on this video? Anyways, this movie will follow the events of No Way Home, where Peter Parker botched a spell with Doctor Strange, trying to get the entire world to forget that Peter Parker, is Spider-Man. And now with botching that spell, it brought in a lot of villains from other universes that knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and he spent the rest of the movie trying to send them all back to their respective universes, with the help of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Now, where we left Peter off at the end of that movie, he was alone. He was by himself. No one knew who Peter Parker was. No one knew who Spider-Man was. Well, people knew who Spider-Man was, they just didn't know his true identity anymore. Now, it's one thing to be alone, but it's another to be alone and depressed. And that is what we kind of get with Daniel Cretton's Peter Parker. Now, in this movie, from all the trailers and leaks and rumors, Peter Parker looks miserable. It's been everywhere, and the fans are kind of loving it. Even Tom Holland made a comment about how people love the miserable Peter Parker so much. It's kind of low-key weirding him out a little bit. He was so confused about it. But like, the fans love Peter Parker being miserable, and it's not because he's miserable. We just love to see him persevere through all of this depression. However, it's getting to a point now that I've seen through most of these trailers that this Peter Parker is completely at a new low. And don't get me wrong, we've seen Peter Parker at a low. After Tony Stark died, he was completely destroyed. However, back then he had the Avengers, he had Aunt May, he still had MJ and Ned to kind of help him and support him through that loss. He has nobody now. Aunt May's gone, and he's forced to watch Ned and MJ move on with their lives without him. Yet his life is still getting worse. And that makes me beg the question, who is this Peter Parker, and who is the Spider-Man that's going to walk out on the other side of Brand New Day? And seeing how depressed Peter is, and knowing that his body is going through a sort of metamorphosis, drastic character development is inevitable. And I think Destin Daniel Cretton is going to do an amazing job showcasing that. And where there's a good director, there's normally a good DP following right behind him. And the director of photography for Spider-Man Brand New Day is Brett Pollack. Now, Pollack has collaborated with Cretton on pretty much all of his major projects that I listed earlier. However, his cinematography is mostly known for naturalistic lighting and color balance, as well as strong contrast with color richness. He's also really good at handheld, character-focused camera work, but also really good at grounded kinetic action sequences, which is part of the reason why people expect Brand New Day to have a more grounded, street-level visual style than No Way Home, while still featuring that large-scale Spider-Man action. And speaking of action, there's actually one more heavy hitter on this crew that I want to talk about, who goes by the name of Peng Zong, who's been a long-term member of Jackie Chan's stunt team and is the lead stunt coordinator for Spider-Man Brand New Day. He was also the fight coordinator for Shang-Chi and did stunt work for Wonder Man. However, his resume does not stop there. He's also the stunt coordinator for Now You See Me, and he did the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, also Kingsman and the Secret Service. A lot of the reason that these movies and shows have good fights is partly because of him. And Destin Daniel Cretton has a history of emphasizing practical martial art fight sequences in his movies. So it's not too far of a stretch to expect some of the best fighting sequences that we've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie. And of course, I'm not going to forget about the film composer who does all of the music for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is none other than Michael Giacchino, who's done all of Tom Holland's Spider-Man's trilogy for Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, as well as Doctor Strange, Thor Love and Thunder, Fantastic Four First Steps, and Werewolf by Night. He's definitely decorated in all of Marvel's projects, but he's even more well known for his Pixar animated movies. Like, he's done Incredibles, Incredibles 2, Ratatouille, Up, Cars 2, Inside Out, Coco, and Lightyear. He's also been in blockbuster movies like Rogue One, one of my favorite Star Wars movies, DC as well, doing The Batman, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion, Star Trek movies, Mission Impossible, Planet of the Apes. He's done a lot of scores for films. He is definitely one of the top dogs. And in my opinion, Tom Holland's Spider-Man theme is actually growing on me as one of the more iconic themes that came out of Marvel, and it's all thanks to Giacchino. And if you disagree, leave a comment down below on what's your favorite theme that came out of the MCU so far. Now, with the great cast of Mark Ruffalo, John Bernthal, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, Zendaya, and Tom Holland, of course, coupled with a $275 million budget, which makes it the third most expensive Spider-Man movie ever to be made, coming in just behind Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 from Sam Raimi. And it kind of makes a lot of sense after you hear about what they did behind the scenes. Destin Daniel Cretton had them build a custom camera helmet specifically for Tom's POV shot that we see in the trailer when he falls off of the building. Not only that, but a lot of the webbing that we see in this movie is actually practical, not CGI. They used an ultra thin mesh to kind of showcase the practicality of Peter's webbing, with the only exception being when it's coming out of his wrist. Cretton has said numerous times that he wants to push the boundaries of Spider-Man filmmaking by incorporating POV shots of Spider-Man, his spidey senses, web swinging, web shooting, all of the metamorphosis and cocoon webbing and stuff like that. He just really wants to bring back that TASM feeling of tactile again that's been missing from Spider-Man movies for years. So definitely when you're sitting in a theater, pay attention to the details. Spider-Man Brand New Day is such a big movie, a lot bigger than I think a lot of us ever imagined. With that being said though, don't expect world-ending threats. It's still a self-contained story in New York for Peter Parker himself, but it just has very high emotional stakes and physical life-threatening stakes. It's just not on the scale of Universal or Multiversal like any of the other movies, which isn't really a bad thing. I think that's what most fans have been wanting, was for Peter to be back on the ground in New York again, rather than being outside in the multiverse dealing with other characters that really don't have much to do with his story. But this is Before You Watch, where I give you everything about a film that you need to know before going into it. Be a huge Spider-Man fan and planning on going to see Brand New Day, please leave a comment down below on what you're excited to see in the movie the most. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.